Okay, so she stepped forward, and again, it was a desperate attempt to try to take down Barr today in referencing this deal. Let's watch.
It is so not normal to have to ask, well, whose side is the president on? A Russia's side or our side? It is the accumulation of these, what seems like unusual, head-scratching, disparate kinds of utterances from him. But when you start to see a pattern where he basically spouts Putin's lines, then we have to ask the most unusual and frightening question about our own president.
It's a normal question, Joe.
Yeah, well, look, Mazie Hirono represents the looniest part of the Democratic Party. Those delusional comments from, a hula hoop senator really, really show how pathetic their arguments have become. If they really were concerned about the Russians, they would have been concerned about President Obama telling Mr. Medvedev that he would have more flexibility after the election to kowtow to Putin. They would have been concerned about the removal of defensive missiles from Eastern Europe. They would have been concerned about all the things that Hillary Clinton tried to do to so-called reset the relationship with Russia. This is a phony argument that the Democrats are making because they have nothing else. And as part of the conspiracy to frame Donald Trump, which we now see playing out on the front page of the New York Times, this is where they end up. They end up in the loony bin. And I must say, I'm delighted that Mazie Hirono continues to go on television, make a fool of herself and the Democratic Party, and I hope she never stops.
All right, VDH, you get to close it out, about 30 seconds.
Yeah, what would have happened in 2012 if a more conservative Bob Mueller had heard that open mic conversation that Obama did with the Russian president was basically a quid pro quo. And then he said, my God, there was a Russian reset. There was the Romney, making fun of Romney about playing down the Russian threat. There was inviting Putin into the Middle East. He hadn't been there in 40 years. The inaction toward Crimea and Ukraine aggressions, downplaying the production of oil.
So at every turn, you could see everything that they claim Trump is, they did.
There's one superseding fact, which is that the Russians aided Donald Trump in the views of every single U.S. intelligence agency. That's undisputed.
They apparently did Barack Obama because they were flexible during the election.
Let me tell you who the real Russian agent was. Barack Obama was the real Russian agent. Barack Obama was the Russian agent.
Well, I think one thing is clear after this, however you come down on this. Bill Barr is going to be the next Attorney General of the United States, and I don't see how we could really get someone more qualified or more of a professional. And putting up with those stupid questions he had today, he has a lot more patience than I do. So I can say that. All right, guys, thanks so much. And come.